Hello. Obviously, I am not here today. Here's the plan for today. Your guest teacher will hand out your worksheet if she has not already. I'm going to go through this front side with you. I want you to work alongside me just like we were taking notes as if I were here. And then when the notes are done, you will turn it over and do the complete backside by yourself, the exact way that I'm going to show you how I want your work shown on this side. And then when you are done with the backside, all 12 problems, then there will be a second video that you can open up and double check your work, check and correct your work. Okay? All right. So yesterday we did the addition and subtraction equations. Today is going to be multiplication and division equations. We're going to go ahead and start all the way down to the middle of the page. Remember yesterday we talked about inverse operations and balancing those equations. Be sure to show proper work. Okay, we already know that n is 9 for number 1, but we are showing our work. A number next to a letter says multiplication. The inverse is to divide both sides by 4. I should see that on both sides. I should see your cancellation. 4 divided by 4 is 1n, and 36 divided by 4 is 9. Box your answer. We are then plugging our answer back in for n and showing me that 4 times 9 is 36. It checks out. I need to see that on every single one of your problems. Number 2 says something divided by 5 is 20. Division or dividing by 5, the inverse would be multiplying both sides by 5. That's the same as 5 over 1 when you can cross cancel, leaving you with 1d, and 20 times 5 is 100. Box that answer, and then show me that 100 divided by 5 is 20. So it does check out. So y'all, these are easy peasy right here, but remember it's going to get into rational numbers, decimals, fractions, mixed numbers. It's not always going to be easy. So we're just doing the easy steps right now so you know how to show your work for when they do get more difficult, because they will get more difficult. All right, number 3 says negative 3 times something is 81. We want that t by itself. You're going to take that negative 3 with you on both sides, because a negative 3 divided by a negative 3 is a positive 1t, which is always what we want, a positive variable. And then 81 divided by 3. Which is 27. A positive divided by a negative is a negative 27. Watch your signs today. Now we're going to put in a negative 27 back in for t. So a negative 27 times a negative 3 would be a positive 81. Again, you are showing me all of your work today. Okay, when I do collect this, if you don't have work shown, I'm going to give it right back to you. Number 4 says something divided by a negative 2. The inverse would be to multiply both sides by a negative 2. So those negative 2's cancel out, leaving me with k. And 12 times a negative 2 is negative 24. And then I know that negative 24 divided by a negative 2 would be a positive 12. It checks out. Number 5, the variable's on the right, and that's okay. That is a negative 1.5a. It's a little hard to read. That says multiplication. We're going to do the inverse and divide both sides by a negative 1.5 to get that a by itself. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. And if I do 3 divided by 1.5, we can move the decimal once on the outside and once on the inside. So 30 divided by 15 is 2. And I just wrote 3 for some reason. Try that again. 2. And so a is a negative 2. And when I substitute back substitute it back in, a negative 1.5 times a negative 2. A negative and a negative is a positive. And I do get 3, so it checks out. And then finally, number 6, a number next to a letter means multiplication. So the inverse would be to divide this side by 3/4 and divide this side by 3/4 to get that G by itself. I've got negative 12 over 1 times 4/3. We can cross cancel. 3 goes into 3 once and 3 goes into 12 4 times. So when you multiply straight across, we're going to get negative 16 over 1, which is a negative 16. And then when I plug it back in, I have 3/4 times negative 16 over 1. And we can cross cancel and get a negative 12 over 1, which is negative 12. Okay. So you're showing all your work, you're showing your cancellations, and then you're substituting it back in. Let's do 4 more. Something plus 9, the inverse would be to subtract 9 from both sides. So x is 3, and substitute it back in. 3 plus 9 is 12. I need the x by itself on the one below, so I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 2. Always take your negative with it. A negative 2 divided by negative 2 is a positive 1x. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 34 divided by 2 is 17. And then 17 times a negative 2 would be a negative 34. So you're always doing the inverse operation. It says minus 8, the opposite, the inverse is to add 8. So negative 8 plus 8 is 0, it's gone. A negative 15 plus 8, those are different signs. Find the difference. There's more negatives. So then if I do a negative 7 minus 8 more, that is a negative 15. That checks out. So it's a good thing to always go back and check your work, make sure you understand it. Okay. We've talked about this before. You can rewrite this like this. You can rewrite this like this or out to the side. I would do this one. You do not want a negative variable, so just leave that or take that negative and put it with the 4 down here. So I would rewrite it like this. So something divided by a negative 4, you're going to do the inverse and multiply this side by negative 4. Multiply this side by negative 4 to get your x by itself. And 11 times a negative 4 would be a negative 44. Then, if x is negative 44 divided by a negative 4, a negative and a negative is a positive. So that makes sense. Okay. All right, guys, here's what I want you to do. You can stop this video, turn your page over, do them all just like I did, showing all your work and substituting it back in. And then when you're finished, you can go to the second video in Canvas and correct your work. Thank you. Have a great day.